Everything in Chicago is already on edge, but this single stolen brick. This is the kind of mistake that doesn't stay small. It spreads. It burns. It forces every crew to start pointing fingers, and suddenly the whole city feels like a lit fuse waiting to blow. One brick shouldn't matter this much. But in Power Book 4, Season 3 Episode 3, this stolen brick becomes the spark that could destroy everything Tommy has been trying to build. The moment that brick goes missing, the world around Tommy shifts without him even knowing it yet. That brick wasn't just product. It was a promise, proof that Miguel's cartel could trust Tommy. Proof that Tommy's operation was tight. Proof that nobody in his circle was slipping. And now, all of that is gone with one quiet move. What makes this even worse is how small the act looks on the surface. A single brick? People might think it's nothing. But in the drug world, one missing brick is the same as one missing soldier in a war. It makes every leader nervous. It makes every enemy hungry. And it makes every friend wonder if you're losing control. Tommy has been pushing to run Chicago like he ran New York, fast, sharp, and without fear. But Chicago is not New York. Every move he makes is watched by people who want him gone. Every alliance he forms is temporary. Every favor he gives out comes with a hidden price he hasn't paid yet. That's why this stolen brick is so dangerous. It didn't just vanish. Someone took it. Someone planned it. And someone is now sitting in the shadows waiting for the perfect moment to use it against him. Right now, Tommy doesn't know the brick is gone, but the streets do. Rumors spread fast. They slip into the ears of the wrong people, the right people, and everyone in between. Miguel will hear about it. Mirkovich will hear about it. Even the smaller crews, the ones who smile to Tommy's face but whisper behind his back, will hear about it. They'll start talking. If Tommy can't protect one brick, how can he run a whole network? That kind of talk is poison, and once it starts, it doesn't stop. The biggest danger, though, isn't the stolen brick itself. It's the questions that follow. Who did it? Who knew where it was? Who got close enough to take it without being seen? That means somebody in the circle is either reckless or disloyal. Maybe both. And Tommy is not the kind of man who lets betrayal slide. But he can't just start flipping tables and pointing guns. Not yet. Chicago is too unstable. And if he makes one wrong move, every enemy he has will see it as an open invitation to attack. The theft also exposes the cracks inside his own operation. Gennard and CBI are still out there, plotting, waiting for any weakness. The Serbians are watching from a distance, pretending to stay quiet while looking for a reason to strike. Even law enforcement is circling. A missing brick means a missing lead, a missing pattern, a missing clue in whatever investigation they're building in silence. Every group has a reason to pick up the scent. Every group has something to gain from Tommy looking sloppy. But the truth is simple. The person who stole that brick didn't do it for money alone. They did it because they knew the chaos it would cause. They did it because they wanted power. And in a city like this, power comes from pulling strings, not firing shots. So while Tommy is pushing forward, thinking he's tightening his grip on the streets, someone in the shadows is slowly loosening it, one brick at a time. The stolen brick doesn't explode right away, but the fuse is already burning. And when Tommy finds out, when Miguel demands answers, when rumors start to twist themselves into threats, everything will change. Because, in Chicago, nothing gets stolen without a reason. Nothing disappears without a plan behind it. And nothing stays secret forever. Tommy is about to learn that the hard way, the moment the stolen brick enters the streets. The whole balance of power shifts in ways most people don't notice at first. It's like a small crack in a dam, silent, almost harmless, but every second it widens until the pressure becomes too much. That's exactly what happens here. This brick isn't just missing. It's traveling, passing through hands, carrying a message with it. And that message is simple. Somebody knows how to get close to Tommy's operation, close enough to hit him where it hurts. Miguel is the first real threat in this situation because his trust doesn't come easy. He gave Tommy a chance, but that chance wasn't built on friendship. It was built on fear, business, and a very thin rope of respect. When a brick goes missing under Tommy's watch, Miguel doesn't see it as an accident. He sees it as a weakness. And weaknesses in Miguel's world are dealt with fast. Miguel isn't the type to sit and think things through. His reaction is always sharp, violent, and direct. And Tommy knows this. That's what makes the situation so dangerous. Miguel won't just ask questions, he'll make someone pay for the answers. On the other side, Mirkovich and the Serbians are watching the situation with a cold, patient eye. They don't need to steal anything to cause trouble. All they need is confusion. If they hear about a missing brick, they'll sit back and wait for Tommy's relationships to crumble from the inside. They know Tommy has been moving aggressively, pushing into every corner of Chicago. A small loss like this can make his allies doubt him and his enemies smell blood. The Serbians don't need to strike immediately. They just need the city to get noisy, and a stolen brick creates noise that echoes across every crew, every corner, and every deal. And then there's Gennard. If Gennard gets wind of the missing product, he'll treat it like an opportunity. The man has been desperate to claw his way back into power ever since his world fell apart. Every hit Tommy takes is a win for Gennard. But this brick is different. If he suspects Tommy's losing control, Gennard might try to flip the streets against him. He could push the idea that Tommy is slipping, that his people can't handle business, that Chicago was stronger before Tommy arrived. Words like that spread fast, especially among people who were never comfortable taking orders from an outsider in the first place. But the biggest twist comes from the people. Inside Tommy's own operation, the stolen brick forces everyone close to him to choose a side, whether they're ready or not. When something goes missing, fingers start pointing inward. Old grudges rise up, secrets start to feel heavier. Someone who's been loyal might suddenly look suspicious. Someone who's quiet might start asking too many questions. And someone who's been waiting for a chance to break away might finally see an opening. This is where paranoia begins to take over. Every look, every conversation, every move feels tense. People stop trusting each other. They stop sharing information. They stop showing emotion. That's what makes the situation so powerful. It breaks the crew from the inside. Long before any outside enemy gets a shot, even law enforcement becomes part of the danger. A stolen brick can shift an entire investigation. Cops who were looking at someone else suddenly look at Tommy. They might tie the brick to a rival crew. Or they might think it's proof of a bigger operation. Either way, it drags unwanted attention toward Tommy, which makes everything harder. He wants to build an empire quietly. But a missing piece like this is the type of mistake that invites surveillance, pressure, raids, and undercover moves he can't see coming. What makes all of this even more intense is that nobody knows where the brick is going next. It could end up in the hands of someone who hates Tommy, someone who wants revenge, someone who wants to use it to start a war. And that uncertainty is the true threat. The brick isn't just missing, it's moving. And every mile it travels builds more tension, more questions, and more danger. Tommy thinks he's fighting a simple battle. But this stolen brick is setting him up for a war from every direction. The city is starting to turn, and Tommy doesn't even see it yet. All it takes is one brick to make the powerful look weak, and the weak feel bold enough to become dangerous. The most dangerous part of this entire situation isn't the missing brick itself, it's the fact that someone made a move bold enough to take it. In Chicago, nothing happens without motive. People don't risk their lives for a single brick unless they're playing a much bigger game. And that's what makes this moment so terrifying. Not because the product is gone, but because the thief is sending a message. I'm close enough to hurt you, and you don't even know who I am. The list of suspects starts forming long before Tommy even knows the brick is missing. And each one of them has a different reason, a different hunger for why they might have taken it. Some want to rise. Some want revenge. Some simply want chaos. But every potential thief brings a different kind of storm too. Tommy's doorstep, the most obvious suspect is someone inside Tommy's own world. When a brick goes missing, it usually means an inside job. Someone who knew where it was. Someone who had access. Someone Tommy trusted or at least tolerated. That's what makes betrayal so deadly. It comes from the people you least expect. Maybe it was someone who felt overlooked. Someone who felt Tommy didn't give them enough power. Someone who wanted to break free from his grip. Greed changes people fast, especially when they live in a world where loyalty is used like currency. One bad decision, one whispered offer from a rival crew, one moment of weakness, that's all it takes for someone close to Tommy to cross the line. But then there are the wild cards, the people who move in silence. Take someone like Gennard. He has motive, history, and the kind of bitterness that doesn't fade with time. If Gennard took the brick, it wouldn't be for the money, it would be to watch Tommy suffer. To make him look weak. To spark a war he believes he can win. Gennard moves like a man who has nothing left to lose. And that kind of desperation can be more dangerous than any gun. And while Gennard is loud in his hatred for Tommy, the Serbians are the exact opposite. Mirkovic doesn't need to shout. He doesn't need to make threats. He works with silence, pressure, and precision. If the Serbians stole the brick, it wasn't a robbery, it was a strategy. A warning. A way to pull invisible strings that make Tommy dance without even realizing who's controlling the rhythm. A stolen brick could be the first step in a plan designed to break Tommy's empire slowly, piece by piece, until he's crawling back or crashing down. Then there's Miguel. On the surface, it seems unlikely that he'd sabotage his own operation, but the truth is, Miguel's world revolves around fear and control. If he even suspects someone in his crew is plotting something, he might stage an incident just to see how people react, to test loyalty, to find the weak links. In Miguel's mind, causing a problem is sometimes the fastest way to expose the traitor he's hunting. If this theft is part of his plan, then Tommy has walked straight into a trap he doesn't even see. And tucked underneath all the big names are the smaller players, young hustlers, desperate runners, or independent dealers who want to prove they're bold enough to make a move. The streets of Chicago are full of people who look harmless until the day they decide they're tired of being small. One brick could be a fast ticket to climbing the ladder, gaining respect, or becoming someone worth noticing. Sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the king or the rival boss, it's the unknown kid who wants to become a legend overnight. But the scariest suspect of all is the one nobody sees coming, the one who has no obvious motive, the one whose face the audience barely remembers. Power has always been built on shadows, and this world loves to let a quiet background character turn into a sudden threat. Someone who has been watching everything quietly, someone who blends in so well that Tommy never even considers them a danger. Those are the thieves who cause the deadliest damage, because nobody is prepared for their strike. The motives are scattered across greed, revenge, control, fear, and ambition, but they all lead back to the same truth. Whoever stole this brick is not afraid of Tommy Egan, and that alone is a sign that things are about to get darker. Because when people stop fearing the man who built his name on chaos, they usually force him to remind the whole city who he really is. This stolen brick isn't just a crime, it's a challenge, a test, and a warning all wrapped into one. And the deeper you look into the suspects, the clearer it becomes. Someone wants Tommy distracted, vulnerable, and surrounded by doubt. Someone wants him off balance before the real strike comes. Chicago is full of shadows, and this thief just stepped out of one. The stolen brick doesn't cause chaos the moment it disappears. That's the trick. It sits like a quiet storm cloud, building pressure drop by drop until the sky has no choice but to crack open. This is the part of the story where the danger becomes bigger than the missing product. It becomes a chain reaction, one move setting off another, and another, until every crew in Chicago is dragged into the blast. This brick is no longer a piece of dope. It's a ticking bomb buried under Tommy's empire, waiting for someone to step on it. The first eruption will come when the news finally hits Tommy. The moment he hears about the missing brick, his mind will start racing, fast, sharp, and unforgiving. Tommy doesn't let things slide, and he definitely doesn't let betrayal sit in silence. His first instinct will be to lock everything down. He'll grip the operation tighter, question everyone, watch every move, and shut the doors on anyone he even slightly doubts. But that kind of pressure does something dangerous. It makes the loyal nervous, and the disloyal desperate. Tommy might think he's tightening control, but in reality, he's squeezing his own crew until someone cracks. Miguel's reaction will be even worse. For him, trust is a weapon, something he uses to keep people in line. When that brick disappears, Miguel will assume someone is disrespecting him, and no one in his world survives disrespect. He won't wait for explanations. He won't want excuses. He'll be ready to spill blood until he gets his message across. The missing brick might push him to confront Tommy, or it might push him to punish his own people. Either way, someone is going to feel the weight of his rage. While Tommy and Miguel are dealing with the fallout, Mirkovic will be watching quietly from the background, ready to take advantage of every crack. The Serbians love to strike when their enemies are distracted, and this stolen brick creates the perfect distraction, with Tommy juggling anger, suspicion, and pressure from the cartel. Mirkovic might slip in to attack territory, steal contacts, or cut deals behind Tommy's back. The Serbians don't want loud fights, they want strategic ones. And this moment gives them exactly what they need. The ripple doesn't stop there. The streets begin to move differently. Small crews who normally stay quiet suddenly feel confident enough to break rules. They sense weakness. They sense confusion. And the thing about the streets is simple. Once people think you're losing control, you lose power even if you're still standing strong. Whispers become rumors. Rumors become stories. Stories become truths. And those truths shape alliances, betrayals, and wars long before any shots are fired. Law enforcement, too, starts shifting their focus. A missing brick can lead investigators straight into new theories, new suspects, and new connections. If they think the stolen product ties back to Tommy, they'll dig deeper. They'll watch longer. They'll follow cars, tap phones, and wait for mistakes. The D or Chicago PD won't say a word, They'll just tighten the net around him, inch by inch. And Tommy might not even realize he's walking right into it. But the most explosive part of all. This isn't what Tommy's enemies might do. It's what the thief plans to do with that brick. Whoever took it didn't just take it for money. They took it because they knew it would cause chaos. They took it because they wanted to force someone to react. Maybe they plan to sell it to a rival. Maybe they want to plant it somewhere to frame someone else. Or maybe they're saving it for the perfect moment to expose a traitor, start a war, or push Tommy into a corner where he's forced to make a choice he can't walk back from. And that is the real danger. The stolen brick is no longer just product. It's leverage. It's a tool of manipulation. It's a match waiting for the right pair of hands to strike it. This brick could spark a war between Tommy and Miguel. It could reignite the Serbian conflict. It could pull CBI back into the center of the battlefield. It could expose an informant. It could start a territory grab. It could break alliances that took seasons to build. Every character in this world is built on survival, power, and loyalty, and a missing brick tests all three at once. What happens next isn't just about who stole it. It's about how deep the fallout goes. This brick has the power to flip Chicago upside down. And in a city already ready to explode, this may be the moment that pushes everyone past the point of return.